People have read it who have encountered ghosts or other supernatural beings. What was your experience like? What happened?
Here's the revised version with a new name for the ghost character, long ghost story version. My first nursing job was a night shift on a unit just reopening after renovations. It was on the top floor of a hospital, and even on my first night, I felt a peculiar heaviness about the place. The halls were unnervingly quiet, and no one liked walking to the supply closet alone. It always felt colder and darker than it should have. One particular night, that strange feeling turned into something I couldn't ignore. I was sitting at the nurse's station when the call light for one of my patients, Mrs. Randall, began flashing. She was a sweet elderly woman, completely alert and aware. I walked into her room, expecting her usual polite requests. Instead, she sat upright in her bed, her face calm but serious. "Could you tell those kids to stop playing in my bathroom? They're making such a racket," she said. There were no children on our unit. In fact, there weren't any children in this part of the hospital. Keeping my voice steady, I reassured her I'd look into it. When I opened the bathroom door, the room was empty, silent, except for the faint hum of the fluorescent light. Later, I told my coworker Susan about what Mrs. Randall had said. Instead of brushing it off, she nodded knowingly, her face a mix of understanding and unease. "Our unit's been through a lot," Susan explained. "It used to be pediatrics, then hospice care during the AIDS crisis, and now post-acute rehab. Sometimes I think the past never left." Her words haunted me. I didn't see it for myself until a week later. It was around 2 a.m., and I was charting at the station when I heard the elevator ding. The doors opened, but no one was inside. At first, I didn't think much of it. Then the doors began opening and closing rapidly, almost as if something unseen was jamming the controls. Susan walked by and chuckled. "Oh, that's just Benny," she said casually. "Benny?" I asked, confused. She explained that the staff had given a name to our resident ghost. Benny. He wasn't harmful, just mischievous. "Watch this," she said, walking over to the elevator. "Hi, Benny," she greeted. "We see you. You can stop now." The doors immediately stilled, sliding shut as if nothing had happened. But Benny wasn't the only odd presence. Patients occasionally described seeing strange men in their rooms, men who didn't match anyone on our staff. And sometimes call lights in empty, even unplugged rooms would go off, ringing insistently in the quiet of the night. Despite the eeriness, Benny and the others never felt threatening. If anything, they seemed more like echoes of the past, tied to this place by memories that refused to fade. I grew accustomed to their presence. When the elevator acted up, I'd say, "Hi, Benny," like an old friend. And when patients described uninvited visitors, I'd calmly listen, all while scanning the shadows for anything unusual. That job taught me more than just patient care. It taught me how to exist alongside the unknown. To this day, I'll never forget the lessons of that hospital. Those were memories of the living and the not so living. Have you ever worked in a hospital or healthcare setting that felt haunted? Share your experience in the comments below.